Hey everybody, welcome back. It is the Razzball Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I am Beaton, joined by the Fantasy Master Lothario himself, Gray Albright. How's it going over there, Gray?
Yo, what's going on, man? How's things, brother? I went to go get a matcha today. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm drinking it currently. And when I was in the matcha place, I broke my hamate bone. So if I'm not 100%, you know why? It's the hamate bone. The hamate bone injury is going around. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, Gray. We'll try and take it easy on you. Make sure you keep that drink in the proper hand. That way, no further injuries have to happen.
Actually, the matcha place, it's run by this Korean guy. Much like yourself, you're also Korean. I don't think I'm going out on a limb on telling people you're Korean. And so this Korean guy runs the matcha place I go to, and I was like, I ordered. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I know your order by now. You're always one of the most stylish people to come in here. Huh? You get Koreans. You like me? Huh? What's going on, Davida? Korean men find the stylish, the track pants and t-shirt."
I mean, the first time I saw you, it was pink fedora, I believe. So. It's all over the place with your wardrobe, Gray. Maybe that's what he was referring to, not what you're currently wearing.
Just so you know, Beaton, if something happens to you, I have a Korean man in the wings waiting to come on and take your place. Okay.
But can he post a podcast? Probably. I mean, probably can. He's not technologically.
He makes a good matcha though, so that's all that really matters.
All right, great. This is going to be a long podcast. Let's just get into it. We're going to start with the outfield part 2. This is starting what is tier 9, I guess, after the first 8 tiers in the previous podcast. Number 40, Jo Adell. Last year had 37 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 63, 98. He hit 236, 293, 485. Projected for 33 home runs, 7 stolen bases, 74, 86, and a 241 average. He had the best strikeout rate and fly ball rate in any kind of decent MLB sample of his. Best average exit velocity, hard hit, barrel. He was 4th in Major League Baseball in average bat speed, 5th in fast swing rate. And this is only his 27-year-old season, despite the fact that he has been around for at least 3 decades, if you ask me. What are your thoughts here on Jo Adell?
I was about to say, I feel like this is his 27th year in the major leagues. It's interesting. I guess he was right out of the womb, right into the Angels called him up when he was a mere toddler. Like they did with Nolan Chanel. The Angels are the sink or swim team for prospects, but it's more like sink for 7 years and then maybe you'll swim. We'll see. We're not really developing players as much as just promoting them into the major leagues.
Maybe they'll figure it out on their own. Maybe they'll go somewhere else and get help.
Apparently, Jo Adell did figure it out. Hey, yay! I didn't like Jo Adell for many years, which was proven to be correct because he was pretty terrible. But a lot of people were on the Jo Adell bandwagon for all those years when I was not liking him, and they were finally proven correct, and I was finally proven wrong. But I'll take the 5 or 6 W's before the 1 L of last year. But I'm not one to remain stubborn. I have changed my opinion of Jo Adell. Like you mentioned, the hard hit was up. Fly balls are good. Homer per fly ball looks repeatable. Line drives aren't bad. Doesn't really It lowered his strikeouts, as you mentioned. Walks are okay, not amazing. Okay, I mean,
I'm
okay.
gonna be generous still, but yeah.
Okay, okay, in quotes maybe. But the power looks real, and the speed. Even though he only stole 5 bags last year, I think the speed could probably, he stole 15 bags in 2024. I wouldn't be shocked to see him steal 15 or more bags this year. I mean, like, we've been saying in every podcast, who knows what steals, but I do think it'll actually, our next podcast will be about starting pitching, and it'll be so nice to not talk about steals. Joe Adele, I think, has, his speed is not, I mean, he's not exactly, I wouldn't call him a burner like a Corbin Carroll, R.I.P. his hammock bone. But I do think Joe Adele's got enough speed for 15 steals if, the spirit moves him. So, probably, I mean, you heard my projections, 33 homers, 7 steals, 241. I have him going up on batting average. His I think his BABIP can even go. His BABIP last year was 257. I think that his BABIP can go up a little bit. He had a decent hard hit rate. Nice average exit velocity. I like Joe Adele this year. I'm fine with him. I don't mind the price. It's around 120 overall. So in the probably, it depends on your league, but roughly third outfielder. Yeah, I think that's a good price for him. So I'm in on Joe Adele for probably the first time in his career. So yeah, let's go. 30, hopefully 30, 10, 240 is what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, everything last year seemed, in line. I think the biggest question is health. In the last 2 seasons, he's been, in more games. So maybe as he's gotten older and the Angels have stopped hating him so much, he's finally kind of figured out the health part of it. And part of the games played early in his career wasn't health. It was just the Angels moving him back and forth all the time. So yeah, I like Joe Adele, especially if you're needing power at this section. Number 41 is Lawrence Butler. Last year had 21 home runs, 22 stolen bases, 83, 63. He hit 234, 306, 404. You have him projected for 23 home runs, 18 stolen bases, 71, 66, and 241. He's only 25, Ray. Lawrence Butler, obviously in the right situation. What are your thoughts here?
I think probably he feels very similar to Jarren Duran for going into last year. How we felt about him, a little bit lesser so. Obviously, Duran I think was a top 20 pick in most leagues, where Butler was probably top 50. But similar in that I feel like there was a lot of expectations put on Butler, just like there were with Duran. And I think Butler, he didn't meet those expectations, but I feel like there was the expectations sort of brought down his overall value in people's minds, because I don't think he did as poorly as people really thought. Because, I'm not saying he's going to exceed what he did in 2024 when he had his breakout year. But even if he just repeats last year, so what we just said for Joe Adele, 30, 10, 240, Butler looks like 22, 240. So, like obviously less power than Adele, but more speed than Adele. So I mean, I think they're pretty close to each other. Whereas I think the sentiment is probably Joe Adele is going up, and Butler's a bit of like Butler, whatever. Where I think Butler's actually just as valuable. I think Butler might actually be slightly undervalued if he can somehow manage to get his average back up. And I don't know if he can, because I will say, unfortunately, Butler was, he didn't hit the ball as hard. So his hard hit went down a little bit. So it's So it's not like a most likely scenario. He's going to bring his average back up. That's why I have his projections at 241. I do think he's probably a 2020 240 guy, which is fine. It's not awful. Last year, if he repeats last year, he was 125 on the player rater, and that's roughly where he's going in drafts. So it's basically a push in drafts. You grab him. Hopefully you get the same similar return, and then if he does a little bit better, great. You get a little bit back. But I don't mind Butler as much as maybe people actually his ADP is 148, so I was a little bit off, but it's roughly in the same area. But still, I think Butler is. I think he's probably at this point. I feel like people are drafting him and not necessarily feeling as excited about him, whereas they were last year. But I don't mind them. He's probably better. He's better valued this year. I think last year people were overvaluing him, and this year they're probably undervaluing him, where he's somewhere in between, I think, both years. But yeah, I would draft Lawrence Butler with where he's going in drafts.
Yeah, I like him too. I think there's a little bit of just he was a little unlucky, and then the launch angle was down, which I think led to kind of the issues that he had, which was just too many grounders, didn't have good luck on those grounders really. So yeah, I like Lawrence Butler, and I think there's room for improvement, especially in that park. When he leaves the park, we're going to have to evaluate all the A's again. But for now, I like Lawrence Butler, and I agree. I think there's a little bit of draft value you can get with him kind of being underrated, because some people were really all in on him being, a 30-30 type of guy, and he didn't quite take that step, obviously. Number 42 is Jack Caglione. We talked about him in first baseman. Number 43 is Dalen Lyle. Last year in 91 games, he had 9 home runs, 8 stolen bases, 51-41. He hit 299, 347, and 498. He also was in AAA for 47 games where he had 4 home runs, 12 stolen bases, and hit 328. You have projected for 22 home runs, 25 stolen bases, 83, 79, and 287. I mean, he has some speed that he can put to work, and he also has a little bit of pop here, Gray. What are your thoughts on Dalen Lyle?
So full disclosure, I wrote a sleeper post for Dalen Lyle. I am obviously a big fan. Last year, coming into the league as a rookie, 16% strikeout rate tells me he's gonna at least do that, if not better, this year. So I feel pretty confident. Like, I have him down for a 287 batting average. He hit 299 last year as a rookie. I have him down for 287. I feel like that's fairly conservative. Maybe he doesn't hit the ball that hard, but he also has blazing speed. So 60 grade speed. Last year he stole 20 bags in between minor leagues and major leagues combined. He stole as high as 25 in the minor leagues in 2024. But it's also a new manager, new day in Washington. So we'll see how aggressive they are on the base paths. But he has the speed to steal 25 plus bags, I believe. If you give him that, if you give him the 25 steals and the batting average, I mean, you're already at a really good place. And then you look at his power, and he hit 9 homers last year in half a season with the Nationals. Maybe he doesn't get to 25, but that was as a 22-year-old. I feel like the power is just, it's barely. I actually feel like the power might be a little bit underrepresented in most people's projections for him, because Steamer has him down for like 10 homers, so 1 more homer than last year. The bat has him down for 8 or 10, depending on which bat you're looking at. Zips has him for 9. Fangraphs has him at 11. So long story short here, that no one's really projecting him for much power, but he did hit 13 when you combine his minor league and major league numbers. And now he's 23. I do believe the power can get even can even build on where he was last year. So maybe not a 30 homer guy, but if he hits 20, and I mentioned how he has 25 steal speed and could hit 280 or plus, I see very little downside here. At the price he's going, he's an absolute sleeper for me. I think his price right now, his ADP is after 200. It's at like 210, I think. So 210 overall in ADP. I mean, that's a steal, man. I'm all about Dalen Lill at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm in on him, but I think I'm expecting something a little bit different than you are, just because I don't really see 20 plus home run power, but he definitely has 30 to even 40 stolen base speed if they're going to be as aggressive as they have been on the base path. So I like him. I think he does have a good hit tool for his skill set, and I do think he does have elite speed. So that's okay, right under elite speed, but he has really good speed. So I do think the speed is there. I think the 9 home runs in 91 games is probably about as much as I would expect. So that puts him just under 20 somewhere, probably like in the 17 range. So I just don't know that he is young. So there's possibility for growth, but I don't necessarily see that yet. So I'm not necessarily thinking that, but I do think the stolen bases are well worth your time here. Number 44 is Jacob Marcy. Last year in 55 games in the majors, he had 5 home runs, 14 stolen bases, and hit 292, 363, and 478. He had 98 games in AAA where he had 14 home runs, 47 stolen bases, and he hit 246. Young project for 11 home runs, 27 stolen bases, 81, 52, and a 281 average. What are your thoughts here on Jacob Marcy?
I could have basically wrote a sleeper post for this whole tier. So as against most of the first podcast of outfielders, as against I was of those guys, I'm the exact opposite on these. I feel like all these guys are really interesting to me. Marcy especially. So he stole 51 bags in the minor leagues, 2 stops combined in 2024. 2025, he stole 47 bags, 14 in a small sample size. I mean, all these numbers are telling me he can steal as many bags as basically they're going to let him steal, which for the Marlins, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, where do they stop? What are they? Who's the manager this year? Warren J. Schaefer is he in Colorado? I mean, there's so many new managers. I have to study up on my managers. Is it Warren J. Schaefer? I don't know. The Marlins manager is, I believe, is it's Clayton McClowell. Clayton McClowell. McCullough. Clayton McCullough. Clayton McCullough.
He was there last year.
I'm shorting out Clayton McCullough. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Warren J. Schaefer is the Rockies manager. I got them confused. Clayton McCullough he'll run anyway. Marcy can run. Clayton McCullough will let him run. Marcy can get on base. 292 last year as a rookie, and only 234 plate appearances, but still, I mean, he got on base. Really, the only thing I'm interested in, the only big question mark for Marcy for me is power. Are we going to get 5 to 7 homers, or are we going to get 12 homers? Or some people in some of the projections I'm seeing are giving him 15 or more homers. I don't see that necessarily, but you know what? Let's go for it, man. I'm saying at his price, again, it's like these guys are just like, for all the problems I had with the first podcast worth of outfielders, these guys are all interesting to me. Marcy is at 150 overall in ADP, has 10 homer power, maybe maxing at maybe max at 11 or 12 homers, 40 steal speed. Who knows? Maybe Maybe he steals more, maybe he steals less, but he has at least 40 steal speed, can hit 280, and he's going to be at the top of the Marlins lineup more than likely, somewhere in the 1 or 2 hole. So, 80 runs, 50 RBIs, it's all good, man. Grab him, draft him. I love him.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I do not like Jacob Marcy. 357 BABIP last year to hit 292. That's a lot of potential regression there for a guy who's never really hit that for average, even in the minors. Like 292 is the highest average he's hit at any stop ever, Gray. So I'm not counting on any average from him. He has above average speed, but it's really not that good. Like you're saying he has 40 steal speed, but you said Dalen Lyle was 25. Like if we reverse those, that's actually correct. Like Jacob Marcy's not actually that fast. They let him run, but he was also caught a bunch. And I think at the end of the season, they actually dialed him back because he kept getting caught so much. He had nine attempts in September. He got caught 4 times. Like he hit 231 in September. I don't love Jacob Marcy. I think the draft cost is too high on him. He's going inside the top 150. I just don't think a speed only guy is really worth that. Like I think I said on the second base or the shortstop podcast, some guys are Xavier Edwards and some guys are, more in line with what we see from like Mason Wynn. I feel like this is even at his best case, like Mason Wynn, just slower. So I don't know why he's going like double where he should go in ADP.
Boo.
Yeah, he should go by Mason Wynn, not Xavier Edwards. That's all I'm saying. You do with what you want, Gray. I will bid him up on you in those leagues and just enjoy that you have him and not me. Dylan Cruz, number 45, 85 games last year, 10 home runs, 17 stolen bases, 43, 27, 208, 280, 352. Project for 20 home runs, 27 stolen bases, 66, 72, and a 246 average. There's the tools have always been there, Gray. I don't know if the health is going to be there. And I honestly don't know if the average is going to be there at this point.
Yeah, I do. I don't, to a certain extent, he hit 208 last year, but that was with a 246 BABIP. So you figure he's roughly 285 to 300 BABIP. That's going to bring his average up to around 240, 245, 250. I think, Dylan Cruz came into the league, was highly touted. People were rabid to get him. And then, he played a half a season, got injured, and had a pretty decent half a season. 85 games, so not exactly half a year, but 10 homers, 17 steals. I'm not going to just double it and say that's what he's going to do, but I think he could. I think he could do that. I don't see why not. I feel like Dylan Cruz potentially it could be another sleeper. I love this. I love this tier of players. For their price, Jacob Cruz right now is going at 165 overall. For 165 overall, it depends on the league, obviously, and it depends on how you've built your team prior. Like you're not just drafting Dylan Cruz and placeholders for the first 10 picks of your draft. So it depends on what the rest of your team looks like, but I don't see any reason why Dylan Cruz isn't worth 160 pick overall for the possibility of being, even if he doesn't just double what he did last year and he goes 15, 25 to 240, 235. In some leagues that's, kind of useless, but in most leagues that plays, especially since assuming health, he should play every day. There's no reason why the Nationals won't play him. He's going to hit in the middle of the lineup. Won't be a great lineup, but it may not be that bad. It's some question marks at the bottom of that lineup, but the top is James Wood, C.J. Abrams, and Dalen Lill. And then Dylan Cruz could hit fourth cleanup. So, I mean, I don't know. Everyone was all about Dylan Cruz going into last year, and now it's sort of like the hype has faded, but I'm still interested.
Yeah, I will fully admit I was on board and leading the Dylan Cruz charge last year, but I do not like what I saw last year. He just at no point did he hit for average grade. I know he was hurt on and off, and that definitely could contribute. So I'm not saying he can't bring that up, but like you're saying, if the BABIP normalizes, he's like a 245 hitter. That's still taking a bad average from him. But he does have all the tools. He's going to be 24 years old this season. I like him definitely more than Jacob Marcy. I'm not out on Dylan Cruz. I think it's just going to be. I just don't necessarily guarantee it. Like I don't have as much faith as I did last year going into drafts. So I'm not going to tell everybody to draft him, but I do like the skill set still.
I'll say this:
I think you have to have the average.
Like Dylan Cruz, I see like there's the hype going into last year, and he was injured for most of the last year. It's like just. I feel like there's a amount of like, you just got to give a guy a certain amount of leeway when he's, he's basically a rookie. I mean, he was more or less a rookie. He only had, 30 some odd games prior. I mean, it feels like it's a good guy to give a pass to and be like, yeah, he just wasn't right, maybe. And also at the price too for ADP at 160. Yeah, I mean, maybe what he did his rookie year is what he'll do for his entire career, but I don't see why he can't get better after, one, half of a season where he didn't look as good as, we expected.
Yeah, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying I'm not betting on it quite as hard as I was last year. I do still like him, though, and I do think he's a worthwhile value. I just think you have to have the average a little bit built in because I just don't know if that part of him is coming around just yet. Number 46 is Dalton Varsho. Last year he had 71 games where he had 20 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 43, 55. He had 238, 284, and 548. Young projected for 29 home runs, 12 stolen bases, 79, 71, and a 241 average. He had 20 home runs in 71 games last year. He had 18 and 136 before that, 20 and 158, and 27 and 151. That is just to tell you he hit the ball really well last year. Average bat speed and fast swing rate were up a good amount from 2024, and both were the best that he's had in the 3 years that those stats have been tracked. So Dalton Varsho was going for it last year and probably would have put up a very nice season had he stayed healthy.
Yeah, I wrote a sleeper post for Dalton Varsho as well. I think it was there was some crickets on it because I think it's hard to get excited about Dalton Varsho for most people. I understand it. I think people's their impression of Dalton Varsho is it's so far gone that they just don't think much of him, even though last year felt like a breakout. It doesn't make total sense for him to break out in his 5th year, but it looks like things changed. Like you mentioned it, the hard hit went through the roof. His homer per fly ball went up. His fly balls are great for if he's going to be swinging that way with that hard hit. There's no reason why not to get in again. Or get in for the first time if you weren't in last year. I think Dalton Varsho also not that the power now that's the power aside because I think the power is for real now, where it wasn't before. I mean, I'll fully admit he didn't have power prior to last year, but he does now. So it's he made a swing adjustment. Something's changed. He's better now. And last year we didn't see it, but he's got a little bit of speed, not insane amount. I wouldn't put him down for 30 steals, but if he can just steal, 12 bags, if he hits 30 homers, steals 12 bags and hits 230 235, 240, you're talking about a top, assuming he stays healthy all year, that's a top 70, top 50 player. That's absolutely someone you should be drafting, especially at his cost. I think right now Varsho is at what? I don't know, 160, 170. He's
probably after that. I think he's after 200 right now.
Yeah, he's at 197. So he's at 197 on ADP. Absolutely, you take that all day. You draft that. So again, like maybe you weren't drafting the prototypical number 1 and number 2 outfielders, but there's a ton of guys here to draft when you're in the 150 to 200 overall range.
Yes, and if you didn't listen to Outfielder Part 1 and listen to my conspiracy theories, basically what I said was a lot of the StatCast data, the average exit velocity, barrels, and hard hit data was up last year. I think that was ball related. However, his also comes with the bat tracking, which is he actually swung harder. The bat was going faster. So there's a reason that would happen. So yes, I'm with you on Dalton Varsho. I feel like honestly, there's breakout potential here. He could potentially go like 30-20. Because we're just talking straight speed. He's faster than your boy Jacob Marcy, and if Jacob Marcy can steal 30 bases, then why can't Dalton Varsho? Next up is 47, Stephen Kwan. Last year he had 11 home runs, 21 stolen bases, 81, 56. He hit 272, 330, and 374. Young projected for 14 home runs, 22 stolen bases, 86, 52, and a 277 average. Everything's in line with his career Gray. He's never hit the ball hard. He's actually not fast, but he gets it all done, and it's pretty much the same year in, year out.
Yeah, absolutely. This whole tier of outfielders, up until this point at least, were guys who I was insanely excited about. And Stephen Kwan doesn't really fit that bill. He was kind of hard to rank because he's much more similar to what we were saying with Ian Happ in the last podcast when we were talking about how Ian Happ always gives a certain baseline of stats, and he gets drafted after what his stats are worth. And Stephen Kwan's the same way, just at a lesser extent. Like Stephen Kwan always gives a certain number of homers and steals and average and runs, and he does the same every year, more or less. But he is, and he's about as valuable as he always is, except he gets drafted after that. So, it's not the most exciting guy in the world to draft. I do have a Stephen Kwan t-shirt on, though, right now, as we're doing this podcast. I am the only person in the world with a Stephen Kwan t-shirt, I believe. I like Stephen Kwan as far as, like, if you need the stats he's providing, and you can sort of bank on what he gives every year, and there's value to it. It's not the most exciting line, but it's something.
Yep, that's pretty much on the dot right there. What I was going to say. Number 48 is Jurickson Profar. 88 games last year after his suspension. He had 14 home runs, 9 stolen bases, 56, 43. He hit 245, 353, and 434. Young projected for 20 home runs, 12 stolen bases, 86, 68, and a 262 average. The average bat speed and fast swing rate were down compared to 2024. More from his right side than the left, but they were down both sides. What are your thoughts here on Jurickson Profar?
Again, as I've been saying, I like Profar. I like, I think similar, he got suspended last year, and I think that might be tainting people's views like his urine was tainted. It might be tainting what people think of Profar because of, the suspension might have people being like, well, he didn't really do what he did in his breakout, quote unquote, 2024 season when he hit 24 homers, which, maybe, but I don't buy it fully. I think for the most part, people, people take peds for, performance enhancing drugs. It's, in some ways, it's almost like it's a mislabeled thing to call it performance enhancing, because a lot of times guys just take these drugs in order to recover from an injury. It's not like he's gaining 10 or 12 homers. He might just be hitting, he might have had like a hammy, or he might have been, nursing an injury and took something to try and get over it. Whatever the case is, it's kind of irrelevant. Assuming he doesn't get suspended again, and he is right now penciled in as the number 3 hitter on the Braves lineup, which I do tend to think that will be the case. So he's going to be hitting between, Olsen and, probably a Riley, or I don't know. It depends on where Albies hits, but he's going to be hitting somewhere in the middle of the lineup. It's not a terrible lineup. If he's healthy, like he usually is, I mean, he tends to stay on, the field. So if he hits, his normal sort of line while playing 150 games, that's valuable. I mean, it's more similar to Stephen Kwan than it was, the other guys who I was excited about here, but it's valuable. There's something to it, especially in a deeper league, like in a 15-team mixed league. You get Profar at a bargain, because like no one really wants Profar. I mean, it's like he's one of those guys where people are like, no one's saying in the chat room like, wow, I can't believe you got Jerickson Profar. It's amazing. Like no one cares. No one cares about Profar, but he does, put up stats is, about as valuable as what you're going to draft him at. He goes at like 175 overall in ADP. You're probably going to get a 125 to 150 overall type fantasy line from him, which is fine. It's valuable.
Yep, I agree. It's not this whole kind of grouping we've been talking about after those first guys are all just kind of, you're going to get what you're going to get, but it's going to give you value. They're going to be positive players. Sometimes that's just the right play to make in a draft versus taking, a flyer that you're probably going to cut in 3 weeks and is going to ruin your team potentially. Number 49. Speaking of guys who have ruined teams previously, Trent Grisham, but not last year because he had 34 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 87, 74, and he had 235, 348, and 464. Young project 4, 26 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 81, 71, and 232. Trent Grisham had a nice breakout season, Gray. I'm not buying it. It looks like you're somewhat buying it.
Yeah, I mean, for the price, I think if the price is around here, I'm fine with them. I failed to see. Actually, his price is much later.
So he goes much later than this group usually.
So he's going at 250 overall. So I'm absolutely in at 250 overall. Like if you put a guy, I feel like I could hit 20 homers in front of Aaron Judge. Like it's not, well, maybe 18, but still, I mean, it's not that hard to hit in front of Aaron Judge, assuming that's where Trent Grisham's going to hit. And I have no reason to believe otherwise, because like when Aaron Boone does something once, he'll do it 162 times. There's no reason why Trent Grisham won't hit leadoff in front of Aaron Judge, at least to righties. And then I think the steals are kind of negligible, but at 5 to 7 steals is like, it's something. I mean, last year it was only 3. Again, with Aaron Judge behind you, you may not run as much. So maybe, I have him projected for 5? So maybe 5 steals and 25 homers in that park. Yeah, I mean, it's not, 25, 5, 235 isn't the best line in the world, but again, at 250 overall in ADP, it's not 250 overall in ADP, the numbers I just said. It's probably closer to 175 overall. So there's value there.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes in the 250 range, then sure. I don't like him amongst this group of outfielders, but yes, at his ADP, I have no problem with him. He will be further down in my rankings when you look at him. He did have his career best hard hit rate, average exit velocity, barrel, Talked about what all that was. The average bat speed was up very slightly, as well as the fast swing rate was up a decent amount, actually, but both still on the low end of what Major League Baseball is. He did finally become a true lefty bat because he actually struggled versus lefties and hit righties, which has been the opposite for his entire career somehow. And just to really just give you a little bit of a headache here, Gray, he had 8 home runs in April and 10 in August. I know how much you love those stats, but 8 and 10 for a guy who's literally never done that in a month ever in his career. I don't know that I'm necessarily giving him the same number, but you're not. So, like, I agree generally where you have your projections. I'm bringing it up more for the people who are listening. If you think he's going to repeat 30-plus home runs, I would advise against that.
And also one last thing on Trent Grisham. On the player rater last year, he was at 100 overall. So, that was, high. Like we've been saying, that was high on homers. But even if you take 7 homers off of what he did last year, and he still gets the counting stats and the kind of meh average, and he's hitting in front of Aaron Judge, it's hard to imagine he's not going to be at least as valuable as like 150 to 175 overall this year.
Yeah, I would like to know if something happened that helped him hit righties all of a sudden, because I feel like that was a big factor in his average not being sub 200. I don't know what that is. That's probably my biggest concern with him, other than the home runs coming down, which we kind of both agree on. I don't know that I necessarily, again, think he's going to hit even for the wondrous 235 that he hit last season. But he's still useful, as you said, even if everything comes down slightly, still going well after what he's going to return on a player rater. Number 50 is Luis Robert Jr. 110 games last year, had 14 home runs, 33 stolen bases, 52, 53. He hit 223, 297, 364. Young project for 15 home runs, 32 stolen bases, 59, 64, and 228. He finally gets out of the White Sox and he goes to the Mets. So one team that can't develop any bats to another team that cannot develop any bats. Maybe you'll go to Baltimore next. Who knows? The K rate was.
What is the from the fire to the frying pan? Is that the saying?
Yeah. Then he'll go from that to oil in the fire, and then we're just going to throw the frying pan on top of him.
I think it's you have to throw salt on top of that, I believe. If it's an oil fire, I don't know. I have it written down somewhere, so in case of a fire, I can go check my notes. I'll be on the phone with, hey, is this a fire department? Yeah, okay, great. So I'm looking for my notes. Could you just remind me of something? Okay. All right, great. So Luis Robert Jr., did you say the projections and everything?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm clearly, if people know his ADP, at least for NFBC, he's going way higher than this. He's going around 120 overall. So I'm way out on Luis Robert Jr. It wasn't really planned, to be totally honest, but it is what it is. I don't see the point of I don't know. I'm kind of shocked at, like, I'm always a little bit surprised, I think, by Luis Robert, his ADP in general. It's kind of like what we were talking about with other guys, where it just doesn't really line up with what they do. Luis Robert last year was 209 on the player rater. Hasn't been good in a while. What is it, 3 years now? So it's been 3 years since he's been great. He was great in 2023. I don't know. I don't see why we would assume that's coming back. Now he's in a much better lineup. So I would assume he's probably going to be hitting towards the bottom of it. So hitting 8th between like Francisco Alvarez and placeholder Tyrone Taylor, maybe, so Luis Robert Jr. is going to be hitting somewhere down there in the Mets lineup. he's just become kind of bland. I mean, his strikeouts are, strikeouts went down last year, but so did his hard hit rate. He hit 223 on a 26% strikeout rate. Like, that's awful. Like, that's really bad. I mean, if a guy's only got a 26% strikeout rate and is hitting 223, he's either getting incredibly unlucky with Babbitt, and maybe there's a little bit of that in Louis Roberts' numbers, but mostly it's because he has an under 30% hard hit. It's bad. I mean, he's got speed, so maybe he steals 30 bags again. Maybe he hits, 15 homers, but he's going to hit 230. So 15, 30, 230 from the bottom of a lineup. It's okay. But I think I have him properly ranked. I think other people have pushed him up too high.
I'm right there with you. I think he's probably just getting pushed up too far into I guess relevance, but I mean, neither of us like him. So I will say, Gray, what happened in 2023, I'm assuming, and this is, I've looked through the numbers and I've looked at Louis Robert a lot. In 2023, he just mashed fastballs. Like, he destroyed every single fastball that came across the plate. After that, he has not done that, and then they've stopped throwing them to him as much, and that has all kind of accumulated into him just being terrible because he can't hit breaking balls. He would have led the league by 11%, Gray, in least fastballs seen, because they know he can't hit anything but the fastball. So until that changes and teams either just randomly decide we're going to throw him fastballs again, or he learns how to hit something else, like, I don't see the return to 2023, and I also do not understand ADP on him in any way, shape, or form, quite honestly. Feels like just a bunch of Mets fans rooting him and boosting him up potentially. Number 51 is Sal Frelick. Last year had 12 home runs, 19 stolen bases, 76-63. He hit 288, 351, and 405. You have him projected for 8 home runs, 18 stolen bases, 67, 61, and a 272 average. Not sure he leads off this year. That was kind of the nice thing about him last year when we were drafting. What are your thoughts on Sal Frelick?
If Mets fans are playing fantasy baseball, I think if they know better, they're not drafting a Mets player. I feel like there's too much history there for them. Sal Frelick, I kind of like felt similar in like the Louis Robert Jr. situation where I didn't really mind Sal Frelick, but I feel like he might be going a tad too high. And he's also, I mean, at this point, it's like Sal Frelick is, a situation where it's like you have to have a team build that can handle a Sal Frelick. I think, the biggest, like he actually was a sleeper of mine 2 years ago. That didn't work out at all. So I'll cut off. Everyone's thinking it. I'll just put it out there. It didn't work. I get it. But I did like Sal Frelick for a moment. And he did finally make good a little bit on his promise last year, going 12, 19, 288. And I do agree, like the batting average, I think is real. He had a 13.5% K rate. I think he is a, roughly 275 hitter. He's also a guy like, we were saying with Louis Robert doesn't hit the ball hard. Sal Frelick barely, I mean, you can barely get the ball past the pitcher. It's like a 21% hard hit. So he's really not hitting the ball hard. But I mean, I think a certain team build, Sal Frelick doesn't look so bad on your team if you have if you need, a little bit of average and a little bit of everything, and it's a deeper league, like a 15-team mixed league or deeper. There's a place for a Sal Frelick on certain teams, and I could see even drafting him if he's at the right price. I just feel like his price might be too high, and I mean he's not super exciting. Like he is kind of like he's a 10 homer, 20 steal, 270 hitter, which is kind of what I said for Stephen Kwan, except Sal Frelick is more in the middle of the lineup versus at leadoff. But it's fine. There's a place for it. It's just not the most exciting line.
Yep, I agree with that and pretty much everything you said about him. We're just going to move on to the next tier 10. 52, Mike Trout. Last year had 26 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 73, 64. He hit 232, 259, 439. You have projected for 24 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 63, 66, and a 231 average. The strikeout rate absolutely ballooned. The batted ball data was fine. First strike rate was actually down, so back to kind of career normals, but the swinging strike rate has been up for the last 5 years. I mean, Mike Trout is a future Hall of Famer. Do you want him on your team this year?
Probably not. I think, it's weird because I feel like for the most part, most guys like a Mike Trout will become more like what Joey Votto was later in his career, which is like, continue to have a good eye and not strike out, but just not hit the ball that well. Whereas Mike Trout is actually, I guess he's expanded his strike zone. He's just sort of, he's swinging at whatever at this point, which is, it's not, and it's not, that's actually not even, that's not backed up with the data. His O swing was basically the same. So he's just not making the contact like he used to. His contact is way down. So I would assume, I don't have the info in front of me, but I assume his bat speed is slowed. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, and his 232 average last year was with a 310 BABIP. So I mean, you're hoping he hits 230 again. I mean, that's kind of like knock on wood. Hopefully he gets up to 230 on his batting average. Like it could bottom out to 210, 215. He does have, he's got 25 homer power, assuming he stays on the field for 120 games. I mean, he's kind of what he is at this point. Unfortunately, am I drafting him? Probably not. I mean, I could see, at a certain point, all these guys become draftable, but Mike Trout's ADP is 180. So that's probably over where it's probably too high for my taste. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not like, it's not like there can't be a like once, maybe a 3-month resurgence. Like I wouldn't be shocked to see that. And him, if he put it all together again for like 3 months, that could be excellent. But then he's probably going to hurt his oblique, and he'll then miss 2 months and come back at 30% and not look great. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe the Flyers okay at 175 to 200 overall. I don't know. It's not like, yeah, I mean, it's not like he's going to, steal 30 bags again and hit 300. But as long as you have, what his stats are going to be in mind, like if your team is looking for a 25 homer, 230 hitter who's going to hit in like the middle, hit it probably in the 3 hole in a terrible lineup, but the 3 hole is the 3 hole for most teams. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's hard to get excited about Mike Trout anymore, though.
Yeah, and I don't really understand why the strikeout rate ballooned to is 32% last year. Like the swinging strike rate was up, but it was kind of in line with what he'd been doing 21, 22, 23 eras, like those, and he wasn't above 30% in those. I will say from a bat speed standpoint, it's still fine. He's still, good from a league standpoint. We don't have bat speed or fast swing rate going back into his prime, so I can't compare it to that. But at least within the last few years, it's all kind of been within the same range. If anything, he's up from 23, down a little bit from 24, but he only played like 30. He played less than 30 games in 2024, so there wasn't even time for him to get old and hurt before the numbers started to fall off in 2024. So I like Mike Trout. Like you said, if you need that profile, if you're looking for that, that's what he's going to give you. But there's not much upside, unfortunately, anymore, unless he just does hit some home, gets into a home run groove, which is certainly possible with a future Hall of Famer. But I don't know if I'd count on it. Then again, George Springer did some crazy stuff last year. Number 53 is Brian Reynolds. He had 16 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 68, 73. He hit 245, 318, and 402. You projected for 20 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 72, 74, and 249. The most boring player in all of our game got more boring last year, Gray.
Somehow he managed to get boringer. Is that a word? Actually, the word boringer is less boring than Brian Reynolds.
I think that's accurate, actually.
It's actually kind of a fun word, boringer. There's literally nothing to say about Brian Reynolds. I mean, if you want a 20 homer, 5 steal, 250 hitter who is getting progressively worse every year, but does stay on the field more or less, Brian Reynolds is your man.
Yep, pretty much. And if you want any positive news on Brian Reynolds, here you go. He actually did swing the ball harder, or swing the bat harder last year. He just had a 7-degree launch angle, so it all went straight into the ground, giving us our best Yandy Diaz impression here from Brian Reynolds. So there's a possibility the home runs come back if you can get the launch angle up, but that launch angle has also been steadily declining for the last 5 years. So I don't necessarily expect that, and I never draft him anyways. Number 54, Kerry Carpenter. Last year had 130 games. He had 26 home runs, a stolen base, 66, 62. He hit 252, 291, 497. You projected for 25 home runs, a stolen base, 61, 64, and 261. He had his career best average exit velocity and hard hit. Lowest home run to fly ball, though, because he was also had the highest launch angle. He was just hitting the ball straight in the air, but hitting it very hard because that's what Kerry Carpenter does.
Yeah, I know. Actually, it's kind of funny that like Kerry Carpenter, his nickname, people call him Kerry Bonds because he's so good from the left side, and he hits righties so well. But it's mostly because he's so good from the left side. And it's funny that they call him Kerry Bonds, and then you look at his career numbers, and he's hit 70 homers in his career. Similar to that crazy Bonds year in 2001. The only thing is, Kerry Carpenter has 1,218 career at bats, so he's not quite Barry Bonds, unless Barry Bonds had 1,200 at bats in 2001, and I've forgotten about him. Kerry Carpenter is fine if you can platoon him out, but he is strictly a straight platoon guy. He's not gonna. And you're gonna miss a few homers here and there, more than likely, because he's gonna come in later in games when there's a new pitcher, and then he hits a home run, and you're gonna have him on your bench because he didn't start the game. So yeah, he's fine for a platoon bat that you have to move in and out of your lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of a Jock Peterson mold type of player. Number 56, Helio Ramos. Last year had 21 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 85, 69. He hit 256, 328, 400. Yeah, projected for 22 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 71, 74, and a 255 average. The strikeout rate improved, and everything else is pretty much in line with 2024. What are your thoughts here on Helio?
He was kind of like the most consistent. You remember when Chris Davis used to hit 241 every year? That was like Helio Ramos, but for every stat. I mean, he's basically exactly the same. He had 22 homers and stole 6 bags in 2024. Then in 2025, 21 homers, 6 bags. He had 269, 256. He's so incredibly similar year over year. His walk rate was nearly identical. His hard hit was close to the same. His fly balls, his ground balls, everything is pretty much in line. Very consistent player, I guess, is what I'm saying. That who will hit 20-ish homers and steal 6 bags and hit 255. So that's fine for where he. I think his ADP is at 210 overall. So it's actually a bit of a. That's a bit of a bargain compared to some guys. I think. Helio Ramos, at the end of the day, it's like his ADP is 210, and and then you have a guy like Louis Robert, who is at 115 or something. It's like, well, I mean, Helio Ramos was actually 135 on the player rater last year, and was actually valuable for most of the season, where Louis Robert really wasn't. So, I don't know. But whatever. Helio Ramos is a better bet, I guess is what I'm saying, than, some of the guys who are being drafted before him.
No, I agree. And I think if you want Brian Reynolds, just wait a round or two and take Helio Ramos, because you're going to get the same numbers or better, and you're going to get it later. Number 57 is Ramon Laureano. Last year in 132 games, he had 24 runs, 7 stolen bases, 72, 76. He hit 281, 342, and 512. You have him projected for 22 runs, 6 stolen bases, 73, 68, and 252. Every 7 years, he has a useful fantasy season for us. Right?
This is the 7-year itch for Ramon.
Lucky Sevens here.
He's like the really tardy groundhog. Hey, Ramon Laureano saw a shadow. Oh, great. See you again in 6 years. I don't know. I have him projected for, 27, 20 homers, 7 steals, 255 in that range. If you get that, and where he's likely hitting, in the middle of the Padres order. So again, like, these guys aren't the most exciting, players in the world, but Laureano is going, around 220 overall in ADP. If you get 22 homers, 7 steals, and a 255 average hitting in the middle of a lineup, you can do worse. It's better than Brian Reynolds, who's going 30 picks before him. So yeah, there's value at Ramon Laureano. It's not gonna, again, it's not the most exciting thing.
No, and he hurt me 7 years ago, Gray, and he might hurt me again this year. It does look, just looking through the numbers, it looks like something might have clicked for him when he got traded to the Braves in 2024. I looked up some news to see what might have happened. He said he closed his stance a little as he was kind of stepping into the ball, as he was flying open before. If you're a golfer, that's a problem. So he's kind of fixed his swing a little bit. Hard hit's been up, barrels have been up, home run the fly's been up since that change. So I do think, like, the Ramon Laureano we saw last year is fairly legitimate. I don't know that I'm necessarily putting him down for a 281 average again, but I think, like, the power that he showed, the improvement from being a 210, 220 hitter like he was when he was about to be out of the league, I do think that the adjustment he made is valid, and I do like him at his draft cost. And there's some drafts where he'll just keep falling because nobody wants to touch him, and then absolutely scoop him up as your backup 6th outfielder or whatever he might fall to. I do like Ramon Laureano back down here. Starting up the next tier, number 58 is Adolis Garcia. 135 games last year. He had 19 home runs, 13 stolen bases, 58, 75 on the counting numbers. He hit 227, 271, 394. Young projected for 22 home runs, 10 stolen bases, 61, 74, and 231. Unfortunately for our guy, Adolis Garcia, who we led the fan club of as he was starting out, he's just continues this slow decline. The K rate did improve. Average exit velocity was up, but that was that was literally the only positives that I could find in his profile here.
Yeah, when he first came up in 2021, I still distinctly remember loving him. Like in the first time I saw him hit a home run, which was like the first week of the season, and I loved him ever since. And now it's like, no, well, oh well. Sad. I mean, it's sad. I don't know. There's not much to say. He's totally declined in just about every way. The crazy thing is, Nick Castellanos has declined even more, and he's now benched because of Adolis Garcia. Castellanos must be on the bench, being like, "That's what I'm not starting because of that." Man, that stinks. But yeah, it's true, man. Unfortunately, so Adolis Garcia, we're at let's see, we're right now his ADP is 225 overall. I mean, I don't know. It sounds about right. It would take a certain set of circumstances for me to actually draft him. It seems unlikely, but I mean, he does have a starting job, and he's got 20 homer power and 10 steal speed, and we'll hit 225, 230 ish. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the ballpark might help him. Just getting out of Texas might give him a few home runs back, so that might bring back a little bit of value here. But yeah, I don't. The trend on Adolis Garcia is all heading in the wrong direction, unfortunately. Number 15 is Addison Barger. We talked about him on third base. Number 60 is Brenton Doyle. Last year had 138 games. He went 15 home runs, 18 stolen bases, 57, 57. He hit 233, 274, and 376. You have him down for 17 home runs, 20 stolen bases, 61, 64, and 249. What are your thoughts here on Brenton Doyle, who continued the Colorado outfielders breaking out and disappointing us trend?
I didn't know. Hey, I didn't buy a ticket for Nolan Jones Part 2. What's going on here? Yeah, Brenton Doyle. Actually, I was thinking Brenton Doyle is kind of similar to like Lawrence Butler, like a poor man's Butler. So call him Lazy Susan. I think Brenton Doyle probably in the same way that Butler was like overvalued last year and now is a little bit undervalued. Doyle might be a little bit undervalued now, depending on where he's going in drafts. If he's going this late, which is he's not. I just looked up his ADP. He's not going this late, so forget what I said. I guess it depends on the league. In some leagues he might go this late. And by this late I mean after 200 overall. He's currently at 160 though on ADP at NFBC, so that's a little high. I don't buy Brenton Doyle like bouncing back to what he was in 2024 when he went 23, 30, 260. But if he can do 17, 20, 250, like I have my projections at, that's got some value. Not at 160 overall, but it's got some value. So I'm interested if Doyle falls after 200 overall, I could potentially see drafting him.
Yeah, I think I might be with the crowd that's drafting him up in the 160 range, Gray. I think I'm backing on Brenton Doyle, and the main reason being, if you just look through the splits, he really struggled in May and June. That was following this terrible family incident that he had to deal with. So understandably, you can give him a pass for those months that he struggled. And then pretty much in the second half, he did exactly what you wanted him to. So I think I'm backing on Doyle pretty much to where he's being drafted, Gray. But I understand why you would push him down because of the Rockies outfielder curse. Plus, as we know, nobody on the entire Rockies team can hit away from course. So you do have to always deal with that kind of split when you're dealing with any Rockies player, like number 61, Mickey Moniak, who is the next breakout Colorado Rockies outfielder who will probably disappoint us potentially. Last year, 135 games, 24 home runs, 9 stolen bases, 62, 68. He hit 270, 306, 518. You have projected for 20 home runs, 7 stolen bases, 68, 59, and a 263 average. He had pretty much career bests across the board. Just took him going somewhere. The breaking balls don't exist, Gray. Maybe we can move around some other players over there. Maybe Luis Robert can go to Colorado after he fails with the Mets.
Or what about Javier Baez? Is he?
I don't know if that would help, honestly.
No. Oh well. I think with Mickey Moniak, again, it's probably more about price than anything. And his prices, he's going currently around 240 overall. At 240 overall, it's like, who cares? I mean, it's just a draft pick in a fantasy draft at that point, especially if it's a 12-team mixed league, then it's really just a flyer. If it's a 15-team mixed league, then it's a little bit more precarious. It's probably more like a fourth or fifth outfielder. But Mickey Moniak did do well for the Rockies last year. Warren J. Schaefer is back. He's back, baby. Warren J. Schaefer. He's back to manage the Rockies and do your taxes. So I would assume, since it's the same manager, I would assume Mickey Moniak is going to hit at the top of the order, somewhere in the top 3 spots of the Rockies order, against righties at least. So you have to platoon them. But yeah, I mean, if it's in the right circumstances, I could see potentially drafting Moniak. It wasn't like he was never touted as like being a high end prospect, but there was a little bit of buzz on Moniak back in the day, 5 or 6 years ago. So if he can hit 260 with 20 homers and 7 steals, and it's at pick 250 overall, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to the next tier, number 62, Dominic Canzone, 82 games last year. I don't have the number, sorry. Your projections are 20 home runs, 8 stolen bases, 56, 61, and a 267 average. Sorry, it was 13 home runs, 30 stolen bases, 300, 358, and 481. What are your thoughts here on Dominic Canzone?
Actually, in almost as many crickets for my Dalton Varsho sleeper was I wrote a sleeper post for Dominic Canzone. Because I'm a glutton for punishment, obviously, and I'm looking for guys that no one else cares about. That's my motto. Last year, I think was his true talent, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't strike out a lot. He makes good contact. He hit 300. It was with a 37% hard hit. He doesn't strike out, hits the ball hard, should be in the middle of the Mariners lineup, is being drafted basically free. I mean, he's basically free in 12-team leagues for sure. In 15-team leagues, he's basically free he's around 400 overall in ADP. So no one wants Dominic Canzone, but I do. I like him. Now, if you're in a 15-team mixed league and you can wait until pick 350 overall, grab him. He's ranked higher for me, but that doesn't mean you have to draft him there. You can wait a little bit if his ADP is so late. So I don't mind him. I think in a half a season last year, he stole 3 bags. He doesn't really have any speed, but if he could steal 7, 8 bags and hits 270 with 20 homers, 20 homers, 7 steals, 270, that plays at pick 400 or wherever he's going.
Yep, and we've seen his bat speed and fast swing rate increase each season as well. So there is some reason for the potential breakout. I like Canzone as well. I don't think he's a 300 hitter, but I don't think either of us do. Absolutely, at where he's going, he is worth a look. Number 63 is Chase DeLauder. Last year at AAA, he had 34 games. He had 5 home runs. He hit 278, 383, 473. You have projected for 20 home runs, a stolen base, 43, 51, and a 271 average. He controls the strikeouts. He takes a walk, and he's a power bat with a okay hit tool, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I like him for, like, the upside flyer. I don't buy, I think there could be, like, right now he's going at 315 overall. So again, basically free. I don't see if I'm not sure if there's anything there, like, power wise. Like, I haven't projected for 20 homers, but 20 homers with no speed is a little blah. I mean, it's a little who cares? But at 315 overall for an ADP, yeah, that's fine. I'll take a 20 homer hitter with zero speed at 315 overall in a draft. I mean, he's probably not even going to get drafted in most 12-team mixed leagues, but it doesn't look like, as far as I can tell, it doesn't look like he's platooning. So, my projections of 400 at bats might even be low. He might, end up getting 500 plus at bats, which would boost up his power to, roughly 24 to 26 homers. I don't think I haven't projected for 271 because, I think he makes really good contact. Like, he doesn't strike out at all. Last year, it was a 15.8% strikeout rate in the minors. It looks like, if that goes up to 22%, I think he can still, if he hits the ball hard, I think he can still hit 270. So, yeah, I don't mind him for where he's going in drafts.
Yep, I like him as well. And I do think there's a little bit more power potential than maybe what you had hinted at towards the 20 home runs, because he does hit the ball really hard. Last year in AAA, and it's AAA, so you have to adjust the numbers down a little bit, but a 52% hard hit and a 91.2 average exit velocity, those are both pretty solid numbers, especially the hard hit. So for a guy that controls the zone well, and his average may not be great, but he doesn't strike out, he takes walks. I do think there's some breakout potential here just because he sees the ball well and he hits it well. So I don't mind Chase DeLauder at all. And like you said, there's leagues where you're just going to be able to grab him up at the very end. And I will take that. Number 64 is Wilyer Abreu. Last year in 115 games, he had 22 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 53, 69. He hit 247, 317, and 469. Project for 21 home runs, 7 stolen bases, 56, 65, and a 252 average. What are your thoughts here on Wilyer Abreu?
I think there's probably, like, there's a possibility here. It's probably maybe 25% chance that he could potentially play every day, and then he would become way more valuable than this part of the draft, or where I have him ranked at least. I think I have him ranked probably around 250 overall. He's going at 222. So I have him roughly around where his ADP is, but if he does play every day, that could boost up his value tremendously, because he hasn't really ever played every day. Why suddenly he would, I don't really know for sure. I mean, I think they have a few guys on the bench, the Red Sox, that is. They have a few guys who potentially could play in the outfield. I think Romy Gonzalez and Yoshida could both play in the outfield, or Duran goes to the outfield, and then they have the DH spot. But then Tristan Casas returns at some point, so that potentially could happen, where Abreu then gets benched for his lefties. It's a lot. There's a lot of his value is tied up into how many at bats he's going to get, because if he gets 400 at bats, like I'm thinking, he's probably a 20 homer, 5 steal, 245 hitter, in that range. But if he plays, if he gets 520 at bats, then he gets, 26 homers, 10 steals, and, same average ish, relatively, maybe a little bit lower if he's facing lefties. But, if he gets a boost in counting stats, that could boost up his entire value, and he could become like a 150 overall type player, and he's going much later than that. So there could be some value here with Willie or Abreu, but it's hard to say how many at-bats he's actually going to get.
Yeah, there's the at-bats, and I will say he did take the launch angle. Like, his launch angle has been increasing. It may have gone a little bit too far last year, as he is at a 52.7% fly ball rate. When your launch angle is 23 degrees, and he does hit the ball fairly hard, but he's not, he's not a Kyle Schwarber, Kyle Raleigh type of power guy. So when you hit that many fly balls, there is a potential that if that launch angle continues to climb, I don't even know if you can put it any higher, quite honestly, that the average may bottom out. But again, I don't think that's even a possibility, because I don't know how he could launch the ball any higher than he already was. Number 65 is Jordan Beck. Last year had 16 home runs, 19 stolen bases, 62, 53. He hit 258, 317, and 416. You have him down for 18 home runs, 15 stolen bases, 66, 61, and 241. This is another Rockies outfielder, potential breakout type of guy. Are you buying him this year?
I'm not sure if Jordan Beck is coming off of his breakout or is about to go to his breakout. And so I don't know if he's coming off his breakout, which means he's going to be terrible this year, or he hasn't broken out yet, and that means he's going to be good.
So he's like either Nolan Jones after his breakout, or he's Brenton Doyle, is what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if it's before Nolan Jones' breakout or after Nolan Jones' breakout. I don't know where we are in the Jordan Beck cycle, I guess, is what I'm saying. I don't know where we are in the Rockies outfielder cycle for Jordan Beck. I mean, his numbers look pretty good from last year. You said them already. Those are pretty good numbers, but I don't really buy them completely. I mean, I don't. He had a almost 30% strikeout rate. He had a 35% the year before, in a smaller sample size, but still. He played 148 games last year and he had a 30% strikeout rate. That has a lot of shades of Nolan Jones, to be honest. And I don't buy the speed completely. I don't buy the power. I don't buy the speed. I don't really buy the hitting, the average. So I don't know. I mean, he's going as late as, like 250 overall. So in that scenario, I mean, I could see drafting him because, at 250 overall, it's like if it doesn't work out, you just drop him or something. But it's okay. I mean, it's like a flyer as your fourth or fifth outfielder in a 15-team mixed league. And in a 12-team mixed league, he's basically a utility player. And that's fine for a utility player for a flyer, but I don't fully trust him.
Yeah, I don't fully trust at least the power part of it and the average part, honestly. Even at 258, I don't know if I trust that number. I do think the speed is real, and I think that could even potentially go up if the Rockies intend to run more. I don't know about the rest of the profile, though. The sprint speed's fine, though. He's a top 100 sprint speed guy. I don't have any questions about the stolen bases, really. Everything else, yeah, I have some questions, potentially. Number 66 is Colton Cowser. 92 games last year. He had 16 home runs, 14 stolen bases, 36, 40. He hit 196, 269, 385. You project for 22 home runs, 15 stolen bases, 52, 61, and a 227 average. The strikeout rates are starting to get to bad levels, Gray. I really liked Colton Cowser as a prospect, and even last year, I don't know that I like him quite as much as I used to.
Is it possible that the Orioles just can't develop hitters? I mean, it's possible, right? Or I don't know.
It's very possible. I feel like that the Orioles can't develop, or like all their development is in the minors, and then they come up to the majors and they're like, forget everything you need, learn in the minors.
Yeah, I don't know.
People hit fine in the like their players hit fine in the minors. Right. What is the Major League Baseball side of things doing?
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty concerning when a guy is like, hitting 196 with a 35.6% strikeout rate in his basically a sophomore season. I mean, that's concerning. So I mean, he's I have him ranked like as a flyer in 12 team leagues. He's going at 250 overall. So that's basically a flyer in 12 team mixed leagues and a fourth or fifth outfield, like I've been saying for 15 team mixed leagues, probably closer to a fifth outfielder now. So it's fine for a flyer, but I honestly don't know what to expect. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see him do if he's this poor again this year. I wouldn't be shocked to see him get demoted or become like a bench player and Tyler O'Neill takes over for him, or someone else, Jeremiah Jackson, or they have other options. So it wouldn't shock me to see Colton Cowser potentially lose his spot in the lineup. So yeah, it's a flyer.
Yeah, it is a flyer, and he's super toolsy. So if he figures out the strikeouts, like there could be a breakout there, but that's pretty much what you're banking on. And like you said, there's not a surefire job here, and you can't even platoon him because he's awful against both sides so far. So there's definitely some risk here with Colton Cowser. Number 67 is Josh Lowe. Last year in 108 games, 11 home runs, 18 stolen bases, 56-40. He hit 220, 283, 366. Young projected 14 home runs, 19 stolen bases, 57, 52, and a 241 average. The K rate spikes and drops every other year. That's really confusing in regards to evaluating him. What are your thoughts on Josh Lowe, who I really want to like, and then I can never convince myself when I actually look into him.
Here's a good way to know if you see a player is on the Angels, then beware.
If he's traded from Tampa Bay, especially to the Angels, yeah,
then there's a problem. You don't necessarily even have to look at the guy's stats. You can be like, so he got traded from the Rays to the Angels. Okay, I'm out. Yeah, he's become Mr. Wonderful at Shark Tank. Yeah, I'm out. That's it. That's the scenario where I'm not interested. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to expect from Josh Lowe, and I don't think the Angels can fix him. So I would be, and where I have him ranked, he's basically a flyer, like I've been saying, for 12-team mixed leagues. And yeah, I mean, I would beware if I needed steals, I guess potentially. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a mess. Let's move on.
Yeah, I don't even really understand what he's going to give you that's a positive at this point. Like you said, maybe the steals, but even that, like his sprint speed has been, I mean, it's been dropping just drastically year by year. So I don't even really count on the steals anymore. I'm probably just not going to own Josh Lowe. If he happens to figure things out on the Angels, then good for him. I really hope he does, because it's been bad. Matt Wallner comes in at 68, 104 games last year, 22 home runs, 4 stolen bases, 47-40. He hit 202, 311, 464. Young projected for 26 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 64, 71, and a 239 average. He finally got the strikeout rate below 30% and had the best walk rate of his career. However, the average bat speed and fast swing rate dropped a decent amount as well with it. They're both still in a positive range, though. What are your thoughts on Matt Wallner, who did miss some games with a hamstring issue last year?
Well, up until I would say with Rocco Baldelli gone, I mean, there's a chance Wallner could face righties and lefties. And I'm not 100% sure that's going to be a positive for him, but it could happen. He could face both sides. I would say my big thoughts are with Wallner is if a guy hits the ball hard, that's a good thing. But if he doesn't hit the ball in general, then that's probably not going to help if he hits it hard when he occasionally hits the ball. So, yeah, I mean, he might hit, some homers, doesn't add any speed, and, might probably going to be a detriment on average. But, like you mentioned, he did cut his K rate. So, yeah, I mean, it's fine as a flyer for your back end of your 12-team mixed league or 15-team fifth outfielder. I guess it's not awful. He is going later. He's going at 330 overall in drafts. So at that point, yeah, I mean, he should hit in the middle of the lineup and maybe has a little bit of he's for an AL only outfielder, I'm absolutely interested because of the potential power. And he just has to make contact. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he does swing. He does hit the ball hard, and like I said, strikeouts are coming down. There's a non-zero chance he has another kind of mini breakout. The launch angle is getting a little concerning. Fly ball rate at 50%, so I would like to see that come down a little bit for him. He hits the ball hard, but not that hard. So I like my Wallner when he's going because he's basically free. I would take him over some of the other guys we've talked about in this tier just because I feel like there is still a little bit of hope here. Number 69 is Isaac Collins. Last year in 130 games, he had 9 home runs, 16 stolen bases, 56, 54, and he hit 263. You're projected for 12 home runs, 17 stolen bases, 55, 57, and a 259 average. Isaac Collins is just pretty much a meh player. He's not overly fast, doesn't hit the ball overly hard. What are your thoughts here?
Well, when you put it that way,
I mean, maybe you feel different. I'm not in on Isaac Collins.
No, I have him down for 12 homers, 17 steals, and a 259 average. It's basically a building on his previous year, and there's a chance he plays every day, even though he probably will hit at the bottom of the lineup. And the Royals moved the fences in, so there's that. Yeah, I mean, he's not really a guy you can get crazy excited about. He feels like a potential guy where he's more valuable than you expect at the end of the day because of the just for the counting stats. Like, he's getting drafted at roughly 400 overall. So he's going to be more valuable than 400 overall unless something goes, terribly wrong with his health or something. Like, he's not a huge drag in most categories. Like, he gives you a little bit of speed, gives you a little bit of power, gives you a little bit of average. If he plays every day, there's value to that.
Yeah, there's a little value. You're right, depending on the league for sure. And he finished top 250 last year, I believe, on the player rater. So, if he just kind of does what he did last year, that's valuable, as you said. Number 70 is Jose Caballero. We talked about him on second baseman. Number 71 is Dylan Beavers. Last year in 35 games, had 4 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and hit 227. In AAA, he had 94 games where he had 18 home runs, 23 stolen bases, and hit 304, 420, and 515. You don't project for 17 home runs, 15 stolen bases, 52, 63, and a 256 average. Really small sample size to really try and go through anything. He does have good speed. Do you think Dylan Beavers can break the Baltimore curse?
Yeah, well, definitely. I feel like all the Orioles prospects at this point have a somewhat of a arched eyebrow from me on all of them. I'm a little bit skeptical. But I mean, he was, again, highly touted, toolsy. Dylan Beavers had, power, speed, a decent hit tool. In theory, he had these things. So, there could be potential here for a a possible breakout, but I mean, I don't know. I also feel like there's a little bit of helium on some of these on the Orioles like Beavers and Cowser that I am curious on if it's really going to play out this way. But like I feel like we could get to the end of camp and Tyler O'Neill, Jeremiah Jackson, Leody Taveras, and Ryan Mountcastle, who currently seem on the outside looking in, they might be in, and the guys we're talking about could be on the outside. Like I'm not 100% sure that what we're saying for the Orioles at bats are currently what they're going to be at the end of the day. So we'll see. I'm pretty tentative on Dylan Beavers at this point.
Yeah, I like him as a prospect flyer. I have no problem doing that, but that's pretty much what I'm doing with him at this point. And I don't know if there's any outfielder really in Baltimore that is for sure, not in some kind of platoon at some point or taking days off regularly just because they have so many guys who can kind of sub in at corner outfield. Even center field, they've got a few guys. So I wonder about the playing time.
I'd be surprised if Taylor Ward is regularly platooned out. I think Taylor Ward's there for the better part of the season, assuming healthy. But yeah, no, I agree with you on the rest of it, though.
Yeah, I mean Taylor Ward's never been overly great against righties, but yeah, I'm probably not going to sit him down against every righty. But I could see a situation where, if he's just not hitting righties, they do have Beavers and Cowser there, so there could be some movement around where he does get pulled out. But you're probably right. Taylor Ward probably doesn't come out nearly as much as the others, at least until somebody takes a hold of those jobs. Moving on to the next tier, number 72 is TJ Friedel. Last year had 14 home runs, 12 stolen bases, 82, 53, and hit 261. You have projected for 15 home runs, 14 stolen bases, 84, 56, and 253. I mean, we're starting to get into a boring section of the players here. I really feel like that's what he is. Like, if those numbers are useful for your league, meaning they're deep enough for your league to be useful, go ahead with TJ Friedel. Otherwise, like, maybe grab him occasionally when he's hot in season.
Yeah, no, completely. At this point, so in my rankings, I mentioned this in the rankings, but this is now after 12-team mixed leagues. So TJ Friedel, I don't think is going to be a 12-team mixed league guy for the entire season. Like, he will bounce on and off of waivers. He's also, though, on the other hand, for a 15-team mixed league or deeper, like NL only, he's amazing for NL only. He's okay for a 15-team mixed league. Boring plays well in deeper leagues. So if he's hitting at the top of the Reds lineup and he's hitting, as well as he did last year, which was not that well, but valuable enough for where he's going in drafts, then TJ Friedel has some fantasy value for deeper leagues.
Yes, absolutely. Number 73 is Gavin Sheets. We talked about on the first baseman. Number 74 is Cedric Mullins. Last year had 17 home runs, 22 stolen bases, 58, 59. He hit 216, 299, and 391. You projected for 16 home runs, 24 stolen bases, 62, 51, and 228. He does still have some speed, but like, the numbers never said he was supposed to be this good, and he just made it work. I don't know if the athleticism is there to continue to make this work, right?
Yeah, no, completely. I think Cedric Mullins was a guy who had a better, he did better with what he had than most people probably expected.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he's fine for a 15-team mixed league outfielder or a AL only guy. I don't think Tropicana. Where he is down with the Rays now. Tropicana is not going to it's not going to help him a lot. He's a lefty, so Kevin Cash probably is not going to let him hit against many lefties. But yeah, I mean, he probably is, a 15 homer, 20 something steal speed 220 hitter, which, in a deeper league that has some value. He's not a 12-team mixed league guy, though.
Yeah, completely agree. Gray, I will compromise. If we can't bring back the 2019 balls, can we bring back the 2021 ones that he hit 30 home runs on? I'll compromise. It doesn't have to be the 2019 balls. Number 75 is Giancarlo Stanton. 77 games last year, 24 home runs. He hit 273, 350, 594. You have him projected for 27 home runs and a 238 average. He is now just Adam Dunning his way through at this point, Gray. He is a 3 true outcome, but he did have his best home run to fly ball since 2017.
God, I really hope he gets to 500 homers. I really do. I have an actual personal stake in him getting to 500 homers. At least I feel like I do, even though I don't really. I keep saying these aren't 12-team mixed league outfielders, but I mean, there probably is a case if Giancarlo is healthy the day of your draft, there's probably a case to be made that you should draft him. And then if he gets injured, you IL him or drop him. But as long as he's on the field and hitting, he's fine for what he does. And then, you just like when he's not playing, which is going to be probably a better part of the season, then you just drop him or IL him.
Yep, that's pretty much what you do with him. I agree. And he's down here because of the missed time, really. It's hard to bank on him playing much, or I mean, they've even started to kind of move him in and out of DH. So even him just starting every day is not guaranteed, unfortunately. Number 76 is Jung-Hoo Lee. Last year had 8 home runs, 10 stolen bases, 73, 55. He hit 266, 327, 407. You have projected for 7 home runs, 12 stolen bases, 77, 49, 277. He is Timu Stephen Kwan here.
I was gonna say if you thought TJ Friedel was boring, when did we get a load of this guy? He's just like, I mean, he's actually the best thing about Jung-Hoo Lee, at least for as far as I'm concerned, is being able to look at his KBO stats and seeing what they've translated to. So when you get excited about a hitter coming over from the KBO, look at what Jung-Hoo Lee did in the KBO versus what he's doing in the majors. I think it's a good example of what people should expect. Not all hitters are the same, but I mean, the pitching is clearly not that good in the KBO because he was excellent there, and here he's not excellent.
No, I will say he was never really like we talked about some really toolsy guys here in this show. He was never really that. He was going to be a good average, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But yeah, as you mentioned, they did not quite carry over. I do think he's still good for what he's good for, which is runs. The average isn't going to hurt you. He doesn't strike out, but no, he's not overly special for our game. Definitely a deep league play. Number 77 is Ryan O'Hearn. We talked about him on first base. That moves us to our next tier. Number 78 is Parker Meadows. 58 games last year. He had 4 home runs, 4 stolen bases, hit 215, 291, 330. Young projected for 14 home runs, 14 stolen bases, 52, 56, and 241. I mean, this is just another kind of blah outfielder here, Gray.
Yeah, I do remember having enthusiasm for Parker Meadows going into last year. So, assuming if you just throw out last year because he was injured and you just go off of the previous year, I mean, I don't know if that's completely accurate to do, but if you do that, I mean, there was a point where it seemed like he had speed and power and what it wasn't going to, it may hit, all right. So he wasn't going to be great for average, but maybe hit to 245 or something. So yeah, again, I mean, he's going as late as, he's going in the 450s overall. So, I mean, he's going very late in drafts. So it's basically free. So yeah, I mean, maybe you get, like, I haven't projected for 14 homers, 14 steals, and 240. That's not great, obviously, but for a 15-15 player is worth a 450 overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a possibility here. I think, honestly, if we get Parker Meadows out of Detroit, I would like him a lot more. They just do not, they don't run. Like, Detroit does not run. They were last in the league. They had 61 stolen bases. I mean, I think Ellie could outrun Detroit's entire team by himself if he really wanted to. Like, Parker Meadows is fast. He could steal bases for you and be useful. I don't see the Tigers letting him do that, which is my biggest problem with Parker Meadows. But you're right. Like, he could potentially go 15-15. Like, the numbers really aren't that different from 24 to 25 in regards to that. And there's some use for that down here. Number 79 is Jesus Sanchez. Last year had 134 games, 14 home runs, 13 stolen bases, 61-48. He hit 237, 304, 395. Young projected 16 home runs, 14 stolen bases, 64-59, and a 247 average. If he could ever get the launch angle up, he could be a 25-plus home run guy, but it's climbing really, really slowly, Gray.
Yeah. I mean, again, when you're talking about a 15-15 250 player, you can only get so excited. So, keep all of this with a grain of salt. But I mean, there was a moment when I thought Jesus Sanchez could potentially hit 20 plus homers. So yeah, I mean, maybe he gets into a few, possibly gets into a few more this year. He hits 20, steals 15 bags, and hits 250. I mean, there's definitely value to that. And again, he's going at 400 overall or something. So yeah, I mean, the juice is worth the squeeze. They're actually in the juice box too. Interesting.
Yeah, and he does hit the ball hard. So again, if he could just get the launch angle up, there is a potential breakout here. I like Jesus Sanchez. I've kind of liked him the last few seasons as just a really late guy you can grab that gives you a little bit of something in a deep league. Willie Castro comes in at 80. We talked about him in second baseman. 81 is Trevor Larnach. 142 games last year. He had 17 home runs, 4 stolen bases, 62-60. He hit 250, 323, and 404. Young projected 19 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 54, 61, and a 254 average. Trevor, no launch angle here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Larnach isn't short for launch angle Arnick. My thoughts are, I kept begging for Rocco Baldelli to play people and stop platooning them, and now I feel like we might end up getting to the season where I'm like, why aren't these getting platooned? Derek Shelton platoon them. Larnach should not be facing lefty. He's awful. So yeah, I mean, he's Jesus is right. Jesus Sanchez and Parker Meadows were both on a good day they're 15-15 250 guys, and Larnach is probably he's a 20 homer 5 steal 250 guy. So more power, less speed, around the same average. May or may not be platooned. Hopefully he is platooned, because I don't think he should be facing lefties. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think he should either, but we will see. If he could get back the launch angle, there might be something there, but it's steadily been declining over the years. Evan Carter comes in at 82. Last year in 63 games, had 5 home runs, 14 stolen bases, hit 247. You're projected for 9 home runs, 17 stolen bases, 42-46, and a 252 average. May Evan Carter always be our warning that you have to take some ridiculous home run to fly ball rates that don't match up with the underlying numbers with a gigantic grain of salt. And somehow at age 23, his bat is slowing down, Gray.
Evan Carter. May Evan Carter be a warning shot that if you have to draft Evan Carter, you've done something wrong. that's Evan Carter is like a flare that you put on the side of the road when your car breaks down. Evan Carter, instead of a flare for your fantasy team, you put Evan Carter in your fifth outfielder spot, and you're like, well, I clearly have broken down somewhere. Unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, he was at one time, to try and put a little lipstick on this oinker. At one time, Evan Carter was considered a top prospect. There was some hope there. He does have a lot of speed, so maybe something. I mean, Arlington is an awful park to hit in, so and he did make decent contact. I mean, well, he made a lot of contact. It wasn't necessarily decent. His hard hit rate is 20%. But he did make a lot of contact with his strikeout rate falling under 20%. So I don't know. Maybe he gets on base and steals some bags.
Yeah, that's about the best hope you got there. Number 3 is Spencer Steer. We talked about him on first base. Number 84 is Brendan Vonneman. We talked about him on second base. Great. We are about 2 hours in. I'm just going to run off the rest of this tier, and we can kind of talk about them as a whole. Number 85 is Jake McCarthy. Number 86 is Cam Smith. Number 87 is Victor Robles. Number 88 is Justin Crawford. Number 89 is Jake Mangum. Number 90 is Zach McKinstry. 91, Tommy Edman. 92, Tyler O'Neill. And 93, Owen Casey. Do you want to pick a few out of those that you want to highlight here?
Yeah, I think Justin Crawford is especially interesting because he's fast. He's got 50 plus steal speed, probably maybe not Chandler Simpson, but not too far off. I don't know what he's going to be able to hit in the majors. Like he could potentially, I guess, if he can hit well, because I mean the projections, not just mine, but the projections for him across the board are pretty good. People thinking he could hit as high as 275, 280. So if he hits 280 with 50 steal speed, he's going to be really valuable. I'm not 100% convinced. I feel like right now, he's penciled into the center field spot, but I don't know. That would mean Nick Castellanos just rots on the bench. Otto Kemp was up already. I feel like we might get to April and Justin Crawford is one of the last guys demoted or something. I'm not 100% sure he's really going to be starting the year for the Phillies. If I had a better feel for that, I think Justin Crawford probably be ranked by me probably a good 30 outfielders higher. I could see getting to the end of March and doing final adjustments on my rankings and moving Justin Crawford way up if he has a starting job out of camp. But I don't buy it. I just don't fully buy that he is. I don't know. We're going to find out though. I mean, he can be someone who could be really valuable, and he's going fairly late. I have him ranked late, but he's also getting drafted fairly late. So I'm super interested in Justin Crawford. Obviously, I think he's one guy who could zoom up the charts on the ADP. Right now, he's at 300 overall. I could see him going as high as 150 overall by the end of March, depending on what he looks like in the spring. So if you want to take a flyer and if you're drafting right now, he's a good guy to draft right now because his ADP could go way up. The rest of this tier, Cam Smith was interesting last year. He probably should have been on the Rockies because of what happened there because the Rockies disappoint. So Cam Smith should have been playing for them. I don't know what happened with Cam Smith. I believe his launch angle just went into I don't know. That might be Jordan Walker. There's a problem with Cam Smith that I don't know if that's been fully addressed. So yeah, I mean he's right now out on the outside looking in. He did not hit the ball hard. Was Cam Smith's big issue. Under 30% hard hit, which is awful. He's a big guy too. I don't know what happened there. And then, there's also Jake Magnum, which is, I think he's going higher in most people's drafts than I have him ranked. I don't really. Oh, actually, no, he's going at 400, so that's not accurate. He's going late. He was someone who, I think he got bumped a little bit because of the Marcell Ozuna pickup by the Pirates. So Magnum may not have the at bats, but he was someone who was looking. It looked interesting when he first got signed by the Pirates, at least, because he had 27 steals last year. So 27 steals and a 296 average with 15% strikeout rate. So there was something there with Magnum, but now if he's on the outside looking in of a bats, which I don't know if he necessarily is yet, I think that's still to be determined. But if he doesn't have the at bats, then yeah, he's probably being drafted and ranked in the right spot. But if he ends up with starting job, and he'll move up out of this tier probably too. So yeah, I mean, those are some guys that are kind of interesting.
Yep, I like both of those guys as kind of speed flyers. I also like Owen Casey, who is going, or you have at 93. High K rate last year in his major league sample, but he hits the ball really hard. And I got to see him at the Futures game last year. And when he hit the ball, it sounded really, really good. Better than pretty much anybody else who laid a bat on a ball during that game. So I do like Owen Casey as a late round flyer, even though, again, I'm not sure he has a job either coming out of camp, but I wouldn't be surprised if he finds a way to some at bats at some point. Miami will probably keep him down just for money purposes, but that is what it is. Anybody else left on this list that you want to point out to, Gray, that is worth kind of mentioning?
Yeah, I mean, in like NL only and AL only and even 15-team mixed league, there's still some outfielders. Outfield's not a terrible position to, in that whole podcast, that first podcast of outfielders, we talked about how many guys we didn't like. There's some decent names later on, obviously not for a 12-team mixed league, but if you're in a deeper league, there's guys. I mean, like Jorge Solar, for instance, I have him ranked at 100. We didn't even discuss him. We didn't even get to a Jorge Solar, but I mean, if you think about, like, he's probably not going to be good. There's a chance he could be awful, but I mean, he's set for as many at bats as he can take. He was signed to play. Anthony Rendon was signed to play too. But I mean, there is, like, Jorge Solar has like 27 homer power and has an everyday job. He's not being drafted in like any leagues anywhere close to like what he could do. He's going at basically 500 overall in drafts. So I don't expect Jorge Solar to do well. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a lot of outfielders that if you punt your fifth outfielder in a deep league, there's guys. I mean, Mike Yastrzemski, Harrison Bader, Austin Hayes, Brandon Marsh. None of these guys like are jumping off the page right now, but they should all get at bats. They should all be, somewhat playable in most 15-team mixed leagues or deeper. So yeah, there's a bunch of guys. Like, there's a lot of outfielders to potentially draft. Are they interesting? Well, maybe not.
Yeah, I think that's accurate, Gray. I will bring up just because I feel like we have to say his name every year, Gray. Jordan Walker down here still hits the ball so hard. If at any point he figures out how to make that better and not miss every single other ball, he still hits the ball so hard. Victor Scott's down here. He's got a little bit of speed. That's Jason Dominguez is down here, Gray. I mean, heaven help me. There's also still some possibility that Jason Dominguez is useful. I mean, he's still only 23 years old. So there's a few guys down this list that are still interesting. But yeah, you have to start looking a little bit more into their value to really start looking. And as you mentioned, we're not talking about 12 teamers at this point. If you have specific questions, you can find us on X. I am at RazBeaton, and Gray owns the at Razball account. You can find us on youtube.com/RazballFantasy or wherever you get your podcast. You can go to the comment section on Razball and leave us stuff there. Until next time, Gray, have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, Lates.